Hello and welcome to Project Passion episode 4. This week I have Emily Deaville on the show from Deaville Bridal. We're going to go kind of through, same as usual, what she done on her process for education up to getting to university, her university experience, and then how she's developed her passion to be her own brand and to actually start her own business from it. So Emily went to the Northern School of Art and she recently completed 2 pieces for a final piece. And Emily, you want to just kind of introduce yourself? Anything else I missed?
Yeah. So hi, I'm Emily. I studied at the Northern School of Art, which is a small specialist art college in Hartlepool. There I studied BA Honours Costume Interpretation with Design, and although I didn't actually deviate into costume, the skill set that I learned was able to take me down bridal wear and that route. Before that, I did a foundation course at Blackburn College, and that's where I started actually finding out my passion, because before that I'd very much thought I needed to go down a more academic route so I could get a more secure job and things.
Yeah.
So I didn't really start sewing until I actually got to uni, and I've come on a long way from there, really.
That's good. So you learned everything pretty much from going down that route for how to go from start to finishing an entire garment?
Yeah, my tutors at college, mainly it was the technician called Fran. She absolutely taught me everything I've known, and I now can I've done a few different shifts at different companies, and I can just use all my skills in different styles, from sportswear to bridal wear to mainstream fashion.
Yeah.
It's given me that strong core skills which a lot of unis don't offer.
Good. So obviously for your final piece, you completed 2 pieces actually, one Throff and one Naiad. Is that right? Yeah. Do you want to just talk about them? Explain sort of what the process was, your ideas around it, and what they actually are. I'll throw a photo up as well in the video version.
That's fine. So when it came to designing my final major project, because I weren't designing for a character, I designed for a brand, and I picked a brand which I'd done work experience on last year, and that was called Emma Beaumont, and she's based in Knutsford. And the styling of that, and both of my gowns were very much influenced by her. But I also used like 2020 trends to make sure they were really on trend, but 2 very completely different styles. So Froth was very runway bridal in comparison to traditional bridal, and it was made up of like a bra bustier which was completely covered, so it wasn't a see-through as a bra, but was fully bond, had wiring cups and everything, so it took the structure of a bra. And then the skirt was completely sheer, and it was layered with over 21 meters of tulle into ruffles and to get the volume of it. And then I made some shorts to go underneath it just to make it a bit more modest. But everything on that dress was like hand beaded, hand embellished. And then the same for Naiad. I went for a more traditional style of a mermaid silhouette. So it took like a lot of influence from modern trends, but the more traditional bridal wear that people buy from buying off the rack, that's what that showed. So it showed that I could do both. And I think I probably shouldn't have a favourite, but I think Naiad is my favourite just because it's a lot more elegant and classier. Like the other one is classier, but it's more of a traditional classy.
Yeah, they are very different when you look at them.
They are very, very different.
They're very different pieces. And you got your fabrics and stuff from Bridal Fabrics?
They completely sponsored my project, so they are now, my dresses will be going in their showroom when the whole pandemic ends.
When all of this finishes.
Yeah.
So what is the plan now then going forward? Obviously these dresses are going into their store, or they?
Yeah.
What way does that work with them?
So they're going to be on display in their showroom, so that when like other manufacturers, they can see the dresses and how the fabric works and that type of thing. But then they can also take the dresses then to like wholesale shows when they're trying to sell their fabric, because they can show all the different fabrics that I've used and how they can be used in different ways and not just the traditional way. So that was the plan with that.
So how much do wedding dresses cost? Like I don't know.
Can vary from, if you're lucky you can get one for £500, but they're usually like off the rack ones. You're looking for like off the rack, so like what you get in a normal store, between 1,000 and 2,000, 3,000.
Oh
But for
shit!
bespoke, they're like all handmade. You're looking at 3,000 plus, really. I obviously would be charging a lot lower because I need the experience, but eventually, hopefully, I can make some more money.
Well, that's all right. I didn't realize that's so much. I mean, my stepmom, when my stepmom, my dad got married back in May.
Yeah.
I think she had like 3 dresses at one point.
You can get them like, there's some big warehouses that you can get them like old last year dresses, and they're just like sample dresses what other people have tried on. You can get them for like 500 quid. But the industry itself is like very quite expensive.
Yeah, well, everything for weddings is pretty much money, isn't it? It's one industry that you can charge as much as you want for a lot of things because it
Yeah,
doesn't.
definitely.
Let's say. So, have you got any other briefs you're working on currently, or anything you've got coming up?
I'm hopefully I've got a job near me working in a bridal warehouse. And that's like making up sample dresses and
Yep.
headpieces for this company. But eventually I want to have my own business and get some more bespoke one-off customers booking in commissions with me. I've just done a custom veil for a girl who's getting married next year.
Yeah.
And that's all gone off and she loves it. But yeah, at the minute I'm just trying to get any form of a job.
Any form of a job that
Any
works.
form of a job at the minute.
Of course.
So I can start making some more dresses up.
That's it. And obviously, you're still trying to work within the bridal industry anyway, so it's all experience and it's all going to help you in the length anyway. Is there any other people? So obviously, I know nothing about this. Is it a big thing? Is there a lot of people making dresses? Obviously, in your area as well, but is it a mainstream thing?
There are, but everyone has their own niche standout. So most people actually just buy shop dresses from where like big designers where they're like just multiple different people. But like for bespoke dresses, there's not that many in the country that do it.
Okay.
Like I know of Emma, who I did my work experience with, and she's based in Cheshire. And around this area in Lancashire, there's quite a lot of people that do custom bespoke dresses, but in other areas of the country there aren't, I don't think that I know of that many people that do it.
Yeah. So it is quite a hard thing to get into, or at least it's a harder skill to learn because you have to cover so much area of knowledge.
Yeah, and you have to try and get customers.
And you have to try and get customers. Yeah, that's true as well. So for anyone else, obviously, did you do this through college as well then?
So I didn't at A levels. I did art. I didn't do sewing, and then I went on to do my foundation year, is where I started to sew, but I never got any of the real core skills. I just did like very different things to have my portfolio broadened.
Yeah.
But I didn't specialise down. I've always loved bridal wear, so
That's what you niched into.
yeah.
Fair. So is there anything like trends coming up in the year that you've looked at ahead of time? Because I don't know obviously if this is I know obviously with some art forms you look ahead.
Yeah, you do. But with the whole pandemic, everything's been pushed to a stop, really. So at the minute, the current trends are like big slits, like deep backs, high necks, like they vary. But we're just coming out of like the trends, which throughout like the 2010s, all the way through that has been pretty much like a bohemian style. And that's still continuing, but it's going to more of a glamour trend again. It's been more taken back to more of a classical with the newness, if you will.
Yeah.
That made sense. But yeah, it's going like keeping boho to make it different to fit in. But I would say that probably the biggest thing at the minute is people are trying to be more sustainable. You obviously wear your dress once and never wear it again. It's a very unsustainable industry, and that is something that probably needs to change. And there are a few designers now starting to get old dresses and make new dresses out of them to keep.
I was about to say that'd probably be a really good way of doing the sustainability side if you just take old dresses because no one ever wears them again and just reuse them.
But a lot of fabric companies now are making fabrics which will degrade and stuff, so they're not just going to sit there and waste.
Okay, well, yeah, fair enough. You have more reason to get rid of it then.
Yeah.
That's it. So, do you know sort of what your 10-year plan is, 5-year plan?
Um,
career-wise?
Career-wise, hopefully just to start getting my name out there and start building up. I'd say in 10 years' time, I want to have my own business where I have people working for me and I'm
Brick and
designing.
mortar.
Yeah, so I can make them to order, but make multiple at once, and then people I can do a lot more. But then I can also help the new generation coming into it that want to specialise in bridal get experience, because I think that's something I was lucky with, getting that work experience placement, but I did it off my own back. There's not really many people that would like to give experience to people.
Yeah. So what did you do when you done that work experience? What was that actually? What did you learn or do when you were there?
I did a lot of hand embellishing, and it taught me how to do things more sturdy but quicker.
Yeah.
And it was honestly the best thing I've done. I did a 1 week placement, and I learnt so much on it. Learnt like how to work in a team better, really, I'd say, because you can be swatching between garments and picking up from where someone's left off, so that they can go and do fittings and things with brides that are coming in. But it was good. I think I probably learnt my proper love for bridal on that 1 week experience down there.
Yeah, so you'd say actually going and trying to work with someone would be a lot better than just trying to pick it up through school based, actually go and learn it?
Yeah, definitely. Working on the job is probably, if I didn't have to have gone to a uni, I wouldn't have done now, looking back.
Yeah.
Just purely for the fact that I'm in so much debt.
Yeah.
And I could have done, if I'd have known how to sew, I probably could have done it and got a placement doing it and learned quicker, but I chose to do it down that route. It's just, I think it's just being able to be in the right place at the right time for getting placements. And a lot of London-based placements now actually require you to have a degree, which is a bit silly, but...
Is that where the most places, I assume that's probably where that would be like the big money and the bridal stuff would be London?
Yeah, London, and then America's very big for it as well. New York especially.
They love spending money for massive, big weddings, though.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't mind actually doing work over in America and making dresses.
No one would mind going to work in America.
I could do quite well.
That would work, yeah. The English dresses for Americans.
Yeah, but I just need to focus on getting my name out there a bit more, really.
Yeah, networking and just social media.
Yeah.
That's it. So, was it's probably also quite hard for you as well, because it's harder to build a social media presence without content to put out there. But if you haven't got a brief, it's especially with things like yours, which are so time consuming to make one piece. If you haven't got that there, you haven't actually got anything to then post, which makes it harder to build a social media effort.
Yeah, I just try and, like, at the minute I'm just doing stuff on my stories to try and see how many people are actually viewing them, and I think I've been getting quite a few interactions. I could do with a lot more, but that's just how I've got my first commission, and I'll just keep going with that.
As long as it brings you work, I'd say. I mean, mine's the same. Before, like, over a year ago, when I had like tons of content going out, like, it was easy 200 likes a photo. Like, if I got less than 150, I was disappointed. Like, it was, and now it's like, because I went so long without posting, then went back to it, was like,
yeah, it has to be constant, otherwise you don't do well at all.
It's all algorithm, yeah. I mean, even the fact that like the last 7 days I was on an Instagram ban, so couldn't fucking post anything. But obviously, I'm still producing all this content for every day. So I had it all backlogged, and I posted the first one this morning, and that's why all today now I just need to flood my Instagram with all this content and just fill it with content. But it's all algorithm, as you say. It's like, if you don't have anything to put out there, then you can't really gain the traction on it as well. But you use your Facebook page as well, don't you? See, I don't bother too much on my Facebook.
I'm not the best with Facebook. I know how to use Instagram better, but I just like do a post on Instagram and then let it go through to Facebook now, because I think it's just easier than trying to do two, but it don't work, I don't think.
I use it to do Twitter as well. I've never posted properly on Twitter. I just posted on Instagram and let it share across for me.
You might as well do when it does it for you.
Yeah, just hit the button and let it do it. So, what has happened actually to the end of, again, knowing nothing about bridal? Obviously, weddings are cancelled, so I'm assuming just like every other industry, bridal dresses just kind of went down the shitter as well.
Yeah, pretty much. So I've finished my uni project from home. I've been home since March, just I think like 2 weeks before lockdown happened. Uni kicked us out and said you need to work from home indefinitely, which was fun because I don't really have the space to cut fabric out and things, but I've
Yeah,
managed to do it. I ended up buying a brand new machine so I could finish things, which I didn't really want to do, but hey,
needs
I'm gonna
must.
use it, so I need to. And I've probably used it more since than what I have with my actual sewing machine. But yeah, so at the minute, I think you can start having weddings, but there's just like up to 30 people now. But everything's looking ahead, and people are starting to go back into dress shops and buy dresses and stuff. So
Yeah,
hopefully, people will start going, do you know what, I want to spend a bit more money and get a bespoke dress.
that's true. Well, I suppose if you think about the amount of weddings that would have been cancelled.
Yeah. So a lot of them probably already have their dresses, but people's in the future will have been pushed back because they've had to accommodate all of these. So
Exactly, yeah. So it gives people more time to save more money as well to hopefully go for a custom dress.
and custom dresses don't have to be as expensive. Like it's like you charge fabric cost really, and then the hours worked on it.
Yeah.
Which if you're having a lot of embellishment on, that's going to take a lot more hours. But getting all the fittings and everything, it just depends really. There's no way of working it out.
Yeah, because again as well, it's fabric cost different amounts. I assume depending on quality of fabric or type as well.
Yeah. So like you can get cheaper versions of fabric, but they won't look as nice. And like depending on your dress, you could need a lot more of it. Like I think I had a huge discount, so my dresses fabric probably would have come to like £500 each
Oh
for my
wow.
two that I made. But I was able to get that discount, and it came to like £250 each.
Yeah.
If you've got to know how to cut things out and be more like sustainable and keep the cost down for it.
Oh yeah, it's being savvy with your material and knowing to keep like your offcuts cut towards the edge and use as much of the material as possible, I assume.
Cut out in the middle.
Yeah, like cutting a square out of circle cake is just so for anyone else, either same position or
Yeah.
younger, looking to sort of go down a niche in the bridal, the same as you have, what would your tips or sort of things to avoid, things to do?
I'd make sure if you're wanting to go to uni with it and you can't get like an apprenticeship and do it that way, then make sure the course is right, because although on my course I didn't necessarily do bridal, the skills that I learnt, especially in second year, because I did like hat making, tailoring, you had to be so precise. You've got to make sure you've got that strong skill set to be able to cut fabric out, know how to work with it, making sure everything is made perfectly. That really helped me out. But if you don't need to, you can learn on the job. It's just I didn't have that confidence originally to not go to uni. I just thought it was the way to go. But now looking back, I don't actually need to do that. I could have probably got work and done it that way, but that's just the way I did it. I wouldn't be in this position if I am now. So
True. Plus, I'd say it's very interchangeable. Like you said, you can do hats, you can do tailor. It doesn't have to be bridal dresses. And like obviously, I seen on
no,
your Instagram I'm going to try and get this right now. It was the light blue wool
tailored jacket.
tailor jacket, the McGuire's 2019, the
Yeah,
replica
the
one.
McQueen one.
McQueen, that was it.
So I made an Alexander McQueen replica tailored jacket from the 2019 collection, so last year, and obviously it changes because I couldn't make it the same, but
Yeah.
I did so well with that. I got a first, and that was like my first at uni. It was the first time I realised actually, oh, I can do this, and I really love tailoring. I wouldn't actually be too fussed if I couldn't do bridal and I did tailoring instead. It's nice, but I just love bridal more. But now I know how to make a tailored jacket. If someone came to me and said, "Oh, my husband needs a tailored jacket for the wedding," I probably would be able to do that as well. And I'd like to eventually have like my own warehouse in collaboration, making up bespoke suits for weddings, because there's no industry for that. You can get tailored suits, but you can't get anywhere that does them together.
Yeah, yeah. And that could be a completely new niche in itself.
And I think that's something I'd like to look into.
Definitely, and it's just with skill as well, as you say, get your name out there, get some more commissions, start getting known for dresses, and then just expand into saying, hey, well, we offer a list now as well, really.
Yeah.
That's good, though. So you've at least, it's kind of shows as well, kind of, you have to love something as well, especially if it's going to be as hard as it is to do bridal wear.
Like, yeah, you just need to have, my parents would probably say, she has no patience at all because I can be very fiery-tempered, but I love just sitting down beading things. Like, I could do that all the time, and I think you need to have that patience to be able to sit and do things, especially in bridal, because people want beads and sparkles, and you need to be able to hand finish. Yeah, so you've got to love doing that to be able to do it. You don't want to do it and hate what you're doing.
Yeah, of course. Awesome. So, look, you obviously are trying to grow your Instagram, your Facebook. So, do you want to just shout out both of them, and we'll try and get you some extra likes.
They're both Emily Deaville Bridal, all connected.
You kind of got a easy game there, didn't you? Really, mine has to be different on every platform. Like, you can just go Emily Deaville Bridal. Facebook, mine's JT Media Marketing. On Instagram, it's _ Johnny Thompson. Twitter, it's Johnny X Thompson. Like,
yeah, I got very lucky in that fact. There's not many people with my last name though, so.
Yeah, Deaville and then Bridal.
Deaville is a bit of a so.
Okay, so hopefully we'll get you a couple more followers.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, this was a last-minute podcast this week, so this is why we're slightly shorter than usual. To be fair, the usual podcasts are a bit. I think are a bit too long. We've been doing them like 45 minutes, almost 50 minutes. And to be honest, who the fuck wants to listen to me join in a conversation for nearly an hour? So I think half an hour is probably the better place to hold them at.
Yeah,
I don't know. Comment below on wherever you're listening. You don't get bored as well on half an hour one. You can.
No.
That's short and sweet, really, and kind of gets to the point. Unless whoever I'm speaking to kind of wants to drag out what they're saying, like Dan Tate a few weeks ago. That was such a long podcast. We had to have a break in the middle of it as well.
I know. I remember you coming down and being like, "Oh," and then going. I was like, "Oh, you're not finished yet? Okay."
Yeah, we were like, "No, we're only halfway through. We haven't even got halfway yet."
Yeah, just to confirm, me and Johnny are friends.
yeah. So I do know Emily anyway. Outside of here, she's Layla, who was also on the show's best friend, and Dan, who was on the show's girlfriend. So it's one big, great, passionate friend group. All right, guys. So yeah, anything else, Emily? Any last minute?
No, just if anybody who may be younger or wants to get into it, they can message me. I don't mind. I can't offer work experience, but I can give tips. I don't mind helping.
Perfect. Yeah.
Even if it's looking into the right uni course, I can help you and guide you through it.
Yeah, because that's probably quite a hard bit as well, knowing what's going to actually be of benefit and what's waste of time.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, Emily's links will be in the description anyway, on all platforms. And wherever you're listening, please follow, please like the podcast. Favorite it actually. It is now on 9 different podcast platforms, so pretty much you can listen to it anywhere. The only place it isn't yet is YouTube, but we're getting there. We're working on that. That's another level. And yeah, follow the podcast, favorite the podcast, and we'll come back next week. We'll have another guest on the show. Next week I'm actually super excited for. It's one I've been trying to plan for a couple of weeks. So hopefully next week should be a great podcast again. And in the meantime, if you want to see any more of the content, just check out, as I said before, at _ Johnny Thompson, and you can catch the more content coming through there, behind the scenes stuff from when we do podcasts and everything else. And until next week, guys, catch you later.